Hi everyone, and welcome to Worth the Calories, a Great British Bake Off podcast. I'm Matthew Vose.
And I'm Catherine Vose.
This week was Pastry Week, which is always a good fun one.
Love a good pie.
A little beige, plain, less colourful than previous weeks.
I was saying I love a good pie. I'm not sure how many good pies there were. She says, hiding behind her swivel chair. but genuinely, of all of those pies, let's say we have, how many were there? 15 pies produced?
Yeah.
Would you have wanted to eat all 15?
No, not all 15.
More than 50%?
I think it would hit about 50%.
Uh-huh.
Some on the look.
Yeah.
Some on what's in them.
Yeah.
But that's fair. This has always been the case with the pie week.
True. I do.
Up until the point that they show how thick some of the pastry was and keep calling everything dry.
Yeah, they really didn't make the final round pies attractive.
They really didn't, did they? Before we get to that, we kicked off with tart tatin, puff pastry, savoury, any fillings.
Now, apple tart tatin is one of my absolute favourite desserts.
Okay.
If it's on a menu at a restaurant, I will have apple tart tatin with a nice dollop of vanilla ice cream. Savoury tart tatin, I'm a little bit less convinced.
I mean, puff pastry is nice. Puff pastry is one of the best pastries.
Yeah, as long as you don't have to make it yourself.
Yeah, but shallots and aubergines, cheese and tomato maybe, leeks and goat's cheese, carrot and walnut looked great.
Yes,
but as a if you told me that,
but carrots
that sounds like a quiche more than a pie.
I'm just trying to. So of all of them, which would you view? I think I'm with Prue, but that's because I love crab.
Go on. Okay.
Like, so, but of all of them, which is the one that you would most like on your plate for lunch?
Henry did crab on top of potato and tomato, which the crab he added. It was not part of the pie.
There's very little that crab wouldn't improve.
No, absolutely. But if we're judging on, talking about his baking and baking the things.
Yeah, okay.
It might be the cheese and tomato.
Whose was that?
Steph's, although it was goat's cheese, and I'm not a huge fan of goat's cheese.
Yeah, it wasn't it onions? Cheese and onion that she did. She had lots and lots of caramelised onions at the bottom. I'm sure it was.
I'm not sure.
Did look tasty. Well, the carrot.
Do we want to check?
I don't really mind. It's not like it's going to go in my tummy.
It could have been cheese and onion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think she said she tried it with tomato, it didn't work, and she cast them aside.
Okay, right.
Because that was around the time we were going, "Ooh, Henry, tomatoes, that's going to be too watery."
Yeah, no, I'm sure she said tomato. Maybe I just heard tomato, because yes, we've been talking about Henry's as using tomatoes on top of the potato.
Being a bit dangerous.
It was going to be very dangerous for it. But then thinking, because I thought she was going to bake with the cheese, that it would have worked very nicely.
Yeah.
Because the cheese would have helped mellow out some of the tomato in it.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Funny. Looking at it, I just kept thinking about my lovely friend Helen, who's a vegetarian, and goes, yes, goat's cheese, but over goat's cheese.
Yeah, because Alice also did leeks with goat's cheese, which was a really nice idea, but very plain. She
could have caramelised those leeks more.
Yeah, the style and the colour didn't really come out as well.
It just looked a bit soggy.
The carrot and walnut, I thought looked really good. It's exactly the sort of thing, if I saw it, I would go, yes, that looks really nice.
Yeah, but you love carrots.
That's true. I love the way he laid out to do that top style. That was really good. I mean, they said it was dry, but they also said the flavours were great.
Yeah.
So I think that's the really good way to go. I am not sure what I would even have done in this if it had to be savoury.
I think I'd have done cheese and onion.
Okay.
But I wouldn't have done my cheese by chopping a log of goat's cheese up into rounds. I think I'd have maybe nestled some.
Yeah,
I don't know.
A little bit like the crab was arranged, thinner slices, all slightly overlapping in a concentric ring around the outside, or even two rings or something. But it looked like a pizza.
Yes, it did.
In the end.
It did. But then they should have just had them do lovely, lovely sweet tart tatans.
Well, that would have been the thing, because I'm sure there's a way of doing cherry tart tatin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to try? Although I don't know how easy cherries would be to caramelise.
I'm not sure you particularly need to.
I think that's well part of the tart tatin, to caramelise the top.
Yeah. But you bake them in a pan.
Yeah.
And then you put the pastry on top and bake it, and that might be.
I would be willing to aid you as your taster, should you wish to do cherry tart tatin.
It would at the very least bear a Google search.
Yes.
For someone's recipe about it.
Maybe.
Maybe. So you would have done cheese and onion?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Can't go wrong with cheese and onion.
No, exactly.
Unless the cheese is goat cheese, in which case, meh.
What sort of cheese?
Do
Cambozola?
So something like, we can't go wrong with Cambozola. Although I'm not sure about the blue Cambozola flavour with the onions. I don't know. You'd almost have to sweeten. You'd have to almost have to sweeten your onions, or have sweet onions, so that the caramelised onion was a little bit like a chutney.
Exactly. Yeah, a caramelised red onion is a very nice way to go. So okay, good. This is the thing that we're finding. Obviously, there's only 5 people, so we don't have a range of things to talk about like we did towards the beginning of the series. Really interesting. As much as they all seem to do it fairly well and have no crises, there were a range of comments about them. Some had the looks better, some were drier, some were wetter. So
I think also the judges were looking for the flaws.
Right.
Because they're all good.
Yeah.
So we've moved beyond celebrating the generally good and making gentle but disparaging comments about the mildly rubbish. Because they're all good. So...
And no one had a crisis, which is good.
So you've got to look for the picky things.
Absolutely. And so that then shone out when we came to the technical Moroccan pie. No? You're not sure on this one?
I'm not sure on this one. But then actually, I genuinely don't really like phyllo pastry.
Okay.
So anything that's it just tastes like crunchy paper, doesn't it? I don't know. So maybe that's where some of my lack of enthusiasm comes from. It's intriguing, though. It's an intriguing sort of construction thing.
Yeah. I really like the way they were doing it. It's quite an interesting sort of technique, it looks like. And I do just like that it's a big slab of pie with a sort of fruity curry Moroccan dish in the middle of it. Yeah.
I will look forward to eating it on Saturday.
Yeah,
night.
no, I'm into this.
That's our Saturday dinner, by the way.
Possibly so. But if we talk about who had crises this episode, there were a couple in this.
Yep.
And really interesting because it did and didn't play into the final outcome. Because Rosie and David seemed very confident all the way through, and then Rosie couldn't actually move her pie at the end and dropped half of it, and yet came second.
Perfect.
Which means it's all down to the baking of the filling.
Yeah.
For her and the flavour she put together.
I think the fact that he didn't give guidance about the spices means that he was specifically looking for the baker's own sort of senses and taste skill. Yeah,
you're able to judge how it tastes and put something together. So they focused on those comments with whose was mild, whose was a bit stronger, and so on. And Steph, who had a moment in trying to put them together.
I wanted to dive into the telly and give her a big hug.
Absolutely, it was really sad. But like we saw with Michael a few weeks ago, she just cracked on.
Yeah.
And got there and got something put together. Now, they could see she'd had problems and knew it, but she had something to present.
Yes.
So, but I think, like I said with Michael, that thing of it's all just coming on top of me now. We can all, understand what she was going through.
We've all been there.
Yeah, exactly. I like it as a challenge, though. I
will enjoy watching you do it.
Well, I think this is why I like the thing of it. The technique is doing that pastry.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other ones we've seen have been technique on technique on technique. There is one bit that you've got to get right. And the good thing, of course, being at home and doing this without time pressure is you can take your time and do it nicely and then make more. Yes. You don't have a limited number of ingredients. So, I don't want to make ridiculous amounts, but I don't have to worry if, it does go wrong and I need to start over and do it again or something. And then make a filling and combine it all and cook it.
Do you want us to combine forces and divide and conquer? Or are you going to just do it?
I'll need to look at the recipe because the recipe mixes doing all of it together.
Right.
And I think there might be a time pressure on it.
Right.
So you start cooking your filling and then you do your pastry and then you combine it all. Because I think if you leave your pastry, the bricks to go
too dry,
they'll harden up and crack.
Because I could do the filling and you could do the strange pastry things if you wanted.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Could you do the filling and then leave it on the side, and then I do the pastry and then combine it?
Absolutely.
That might be the way to go.
That was my thoughts.
Yeah. My worry is two of us in the kitchen trying to do it
at separate times, not murdering each other.
Yeah. Being friends.
Being friends in different rooms.
Exactly. No, I liked it as a challenge, and I'm interested to try this one. It's something a bit different, and I did enjoy David having seen it before.
Yes.
There is something. So looking back, he's come second, I think, 4 times. To he came 9th on 1. He had another second. That's 3. Another second. That's 4. Another second. That's 5.
Yeah.
So
how frustrating!
On the 8th show, he's come second.
Good lad.
And then he's come first on the 8th one. He's come first. So I think there is something with him being well-travelled and well-read on foods of the world.
Yep.
Clearly, and knowing this. And combined with Henry's little thing of no one would have heard of this.
Youth.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the story of Henry this week.
Yeah.
I think this is the point where it shows he is the least experienced.
Yeah, because even if you grow up and you're a good baker, it's not likely you've made that type of pie before.
No.
Because, who has, unless you're suddenly going, I'm going to be a pie maker.
Exactly. But even just the having baked lots of curries and spicy dishes and having a thing of how to put the filling together, because even if the pie doesn't go well, clearly the filling can feed into it. Knowing how to get your pastry together to keep it thin for the different things.
Yeah.
But his signature came together really well. And that was something he can practice and he can do and he can present really well because he is clearly very, very skilled.
Yeah. No, he's very good.
Lots of credit to him. I think it's now showing that experience adds 10%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, into our showstopper, vertical pie, decorated shapes, with 2 further pies on top of that. Go.
I think, other than Steph...
Right.
Which was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know it was delicious, but it looked delicious. It was reportedly delicious.
That curry pie.
It looked amazing.
Yeah, good curry pie.
Other than that, the rest of them were definitely beautifully styled at the expense of their substance.
Yeah.
I would say.
You can see how much everyone erred on the side of caution to go, right, I need to take moisture out of this. And so it's made the ingredients dry. And because the ingredients are dry, it's not softened the pastry, so the pastry's ended up tough.
Yeah.
And it's almost, it's added a double phenomenon.
Yeah, I think everyone's so worried about everything collapsing.
Yeah.
That they overdid the structure.
And it's a real shame because if that balance was there, I think this would have been a very tough round to judge.
Yeah. I was very excited but sad to hear that the filling was dry about the idea of a camembert-filled dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. 2 things that delight me merged into one.
Absolutely. And just that confidence to do a pink pastry.
Yeah.
And then fill it with some cheese and then style it into a dragon and then bake it and assemble it.
Lovely.
I think that's what makes me think Rosie will get through the semi-final.
I hope so. I really like Rosie.
That when it comes to things like that, she's got the confidence to just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And then what we saw in the technical was, even though bits of it went wrong and she had a little bit of a disaster at a point, it was still good enough to get a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any of the flavours of the pies standing out to you? Apple and some sort of fruit, fish, curry, and a ham one, and a fruit and chocolate one.
No, standing out to me, as in I want to eat it, only Steph's.
Okay.
The rest, well, I mean, no, that's untrue. A nice salty smoked salmon fish pie, bring it on. I thought David's looks amazing. And when they were like over-seasoned, I thought, that sounds just right for me, bring on the salt. So yes, I think I probably would have enjoyed David's. And I thought David's was also beautiful. I do think he got so carried away with his idea that he forgot what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think it was only when Paul challenged him that he himself went, "Oh yeah, it's pie."
Even in Whitby, they wouldn't have an open top pie, an open top fish pie.
No, I don't think they would.
No, even in Whitby.
It would be even in Whitby. I think there'd be a riot if there was an open top pie.
Exactly. That's
where's the missing bit of pastry?
And what he could have done, he had 3 pies to play with, so he could have done one of them covered or 2 of them covered, and if he really wanted to have it, with the fish like it was an ocean on the big one, cover the small boat ones. Yeah. But
and as Paul Hollywood said, do a bit of latticing.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing a full lid,
true. Yeah.
Get a bit of pastry on the top of it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
I'm pleased he didn't then go, "Oh, I need to cover them, I've been told."
Yeah, because then that could have spoiled his design.
Yeah.
And then he would have had a shonky design and maybe, it just would not have been proper.
It would not have been proper. So this is, for me, the reason why I'm not sure he will get through the semi-final, because he makes decisions that don't necessarily help him. Things using spices for his flavouring, using open-top pies.
Oh, I don't know. When he's good, he's very, very good.
He's got a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge. Yeah. I think his decisions throughout the show have been... There has always been someone worse. But this is the point where there is no one worse.
I think Steph is definitely going through.
Yeah, unless she has a bad week. We did have Ian a few seasons ago, but yes, on skill and ability, yes, I see Steph winning it.
Yeah, I mean, I would place money on Steph being in the final.
Yeah,
comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Much money.
Yes. So we've got 4 people left: Alice, David, Steph, and Rosie.
I
think Steph's going through.
Yep.
I feel like Rosie's going to go through because she can pull it together. Again, that experience thing is helping her. I think it's between David and Alice to go out next week.
Oh, it's so hard.
Yeah, it really is. And Alice was my tip, as I think she might do something special here.
Alice has some exciting ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the execution doesn't quite happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like her idea with the lattice and the leeks. Great idea.
Yep.
Would have been lovely if somehow she got more of a caramelised...
Yeah, just a bit of colour or something in there somewhere, yeah.
And her treehouse looked lovely.
Yep.
In fact, no, her treehouse looked lovely. I'm not going to end it with that intonation because she just suffered from the same malaise as Rosie did.
Yeah.
In that everything, the filling was just not tough and dry. Yeah.
I think with Alice, it's been flavours that aren't necessarily her strongest point. There have been times she's baked with flavours like chocolate and orange and salted caramel where she's done okay. But things like the pies, I don't feel she's ever come out quite as well. I'm just going back over some of the notes, and I've got notes about things being a bit clumsy. And for some reason, I don't have notes on that page. For some reason, being a bit bland. Yeah. Just, I think... And again, this might be an experience thing, maybe. The others just have techniques and... across the board.
Absolutely.
But I think it's between her and David. I can see David making decisions that just leave it being, no, that really doesn't taste very nice. Or you've baked the wrong thing.
Well, yes.
Yes.
We shall see.
But we don't know. We shall see. You're not gonna put any cards on the table, clearly.
Alice out.
Okay.
That's my card on the table.
Okay. We will see if we even remember this conversation next week.
But I was always rooting for Alice.
I found it really hard to decide who was going to win this week, who was going to get Star Baker. No one really, really shone. And that was in some ways what made it hard to see who was going home, because Henry had such a good first round. But then was clearly bottom on the other 2 rounds. So
I suppose for me, I was expecting Steph to be Star Baker.
Right.
Simply because she differentiated herself so much in the showstopper.
Right, yeah.
So I was thinking, well, there's clearly a skill there that the others don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Whether it's that she is able to practice more and get it down even more or something, but good on her. Okay. So next week we don't know what the week is. They said a geometric thing in the middle, so we'll see, and we'll be able to talk about...
There seems to be lots of sugary stuff.
Yeah, possibly Sugar Week. We'll be able to talk about that. Can we have a talk about technical challenges?
See.
There's been some interesting conversations I've seen this week about technical challenges.
Okay.
And saying that basically this series, the technical challenge, has become so ridiculous, so looking for the random thing around the world that they can bake that ties in with that theme, that it doesn't actually mean anything anymore and we should stop talking about it, and it doesn't really get considered in the judging anyway.
I think there's some truth in that.
Okay. In which bit?
Not in it doesn't get covered in the judging.
That's what I think as well, yeah.
Whether it's not worth talking about, I think, is a different matter. I think it's interesting to see the different things. There have been somewhere I'm a bit like, oh, candid camera baking. Let's just laugh at them as they flounder.
Yeah, with the deep fat fryers.
I think they have. I think they were given permission to buy the deep fat fryers on the basis that they use them at least 3 times during the season.
Morphy Richards have said, use them X times and we'll give you a set of,
Yeah, we're trying to promote a resurgence of deep fat fryers in the nation's consciousness.
As a baker, I've enjoyed them. I get frustrated with it because I do just want to bake something normal, but there is also the flip side of seeing other people trying them and seeing interesting takes on something we're coming to fresh and getting to try new techniques and new skills.
And I think the argument for doing random things that most people won't have seen before is the majority of the bakers will be coming to that challenge on an even playing field.
Absolutely.
Whereas if they were doing more familiar things, some of them may have done them before.
Yeah, I agree, which is why it's a shame it doesn't seem to play more into the technical challenge and really dig into, as much as that person came first and that person came bottom, that person got the flavours right or the technique right or something. So what is the important thing we're looking to learn from it or judge from it? But yeah, you can't have every week be, and now make a vanilla sponge, now make a eggy custard tart, now make because they're all things they have done before.
Yep.
And B, can practice. So you're going to run out of known things, especially at this point when they've done 100 of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely. And if they're worth their salt, they'll have practiced the previous seasons.
At least had a look through the list of them. Okay, what are things that sort of come up? What are sort of techniques they look for? What are things... Because you can't practice what you don't know is coming. So just get a bit more experience. Yeah, I felt it was harsh to just dismiss them from the conversation.
I agree. And I think they're an interesting amuse-bouche in this show.
Absolutely. Yeah. How have you felt about doing them?
I've enjoyed it.
Okay.
On the whole.
Okay. when you're not doing it, you have enjoyed having done it.
Yeah, no, I do enjoy doing them. I enjoy the techniques. Some of them, when it gets faffy, I get a bit grumpy. But do you know what I would say? When we did the custard tarts and did the signature instead, I enjoyed that more. But I think it's because it was a more obvious thing.
Yes.
Possibly. There was less fannying around.
And there is something that these are techniques and styles and cakes that we are more used to, so we have done before and can apply better. Whereas a part of the problem we are seeing is it's using tools and techniques that we just don't have over here.
Yeah.
Deep fat fryers and skillet chapati pans to be able to do this pastry on, things like that. So we have had to buy quite a few things to be able to try them.
See.
Yeah. But
well,
exactly. I still support doing though. I think it's interesting.
I agree. I'm on board.
Good.
Just not entirely this week.
Okay, semi-final next week.
Yes.
You think Alice? I think it's between David and Alice, pending anyone having a bad week. That's the thing, isn't it? Nerves getting to them, it being too hot, because clearly it was getting into that sort of July, August super hot period.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's see.
We shall see. We will speak to everyone next week.
Bye, guys.